Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pension and SSI Updates. I need to ask you something. Can you afford to lose $376 from your Social Security check every single month? Because that's exactly what's coming in 2034 unless Congress acts. And I'm not talking about inflation. I'm talking about a real automatic cut to the money hitting your bank account. $376 less every month for the rest of your life. I know that sounds impossible. You're probably thinking, they wouldn't do that to us. We paid into this our whole lives. But here's the thing. This isn't my opinion. This is official information from the Social Security Administration's own trustees. They publish reports every year, and every year they say the same thing. In 2034, the trust funds run out. When they run out, benefits get cut by 19% automatically. Not maybe, not if politicians decide to, automatically, by law. And almost nobody is talking about this. Politicians avoid it. The media barely covers it. But this affects over 70 million Americans receiving Social Security right now. You deserve to know what's coming so you can prepare. That's why I made this video. Hit that like button right now. When you do, this reaches more people who need this information. Your neighbors, your friends, your family, people who are scared about their future. So hit that like and let's talk about what's really happening and what you can do about it. Let me start with what this means for your wallet. The average Social Security check right now is $1,976 per month. In 2034, if these cuts happen, that drops to $1,600. You lose $376 every single month. Now I want you to stop and think. What would you have to give up if you lost $376 per month? Skip medications? Cut back on groceries? Stop helping your grandkids? That's not pocket change when you're on a fixed income. And here's what really makes me angry. Your Social Security has already lost 20% of its buying power since 2010. You felt that, right? Your check is a bit higher than 15 years ago, but it doesn't go nearly as far. Your grocery bill has exploded. Utilities cost more, prescriptions are more expensive. The cost of living adjustments haven't kept up with your real costs. So you've already lost 20% in buying power. Now they're talking about cutting the actual dollar amount by another 19%. That's a double hit. And for many of you, that's the difference between barely making it and not making it at all. So how did we get here? Let me explain this clearly, because if you understand the problem, you'll understand why it's so hard to fix. Social Security is pay as you go. The taxes you and your employer pay today don't go into a personal account for you. They immediately go out to pay current retirees. When you retire, future workers' taxes pay your benefits. It's a generational contract. This worked beautifully for decades. In the 1960s, there were 5 workers paying into Social Security for every 1 person receiving benefits. That's healthy. 5 people contributing for every 1 taking out. But here's what changed. People started living longer. In 1960, life expectancy was about 70. Today, it's almost 80. That's 10 extra years of benefits Social Security has to pay. Birth rates dropped. Fewer kids means fewer future workers. And then the big one, baby boomers. About 76 million people born between 1946 and 1964 started retiring around 2010. Massive wave of people leaving the workforce and collecting benefits. So starting around 2010, Social Security began paying out more than it collected. More people taking money out, fewer putting money in. The system went into deficit. Now, you're probably wondering, if Social Security is paying out more than it's taking in, how has it kept going for 15 years? The answer is the trust funds. For decades, Social Security collected more than it paid out. That extra money went into 2 trust funds. Think of them like savings accounts. When the system went into deficit after 2010, Social Security started withdrawing from these trust funds to cover the gap. Every year, pulling out billions to make up the difference between tax income and benefit payments. That's been working. Your checks haven't been cut. But those trust funds aren't infinite. They're being drained. And according to official projections from the Social Security trustees, those funds will be completely empty by 2034. Zero balance. And when that happens, Social Security can only pay benefits from incoming payroll taxes. And that revenue will only cover 81% of scheduled benefits. Now let me be clear about something. Social Security is not going bankrupt in 2034. The program doesn't disappear. Workers still pay taxes, benefits still get paid, but the benefits automatically get cut to match available revenue. This is written into law. The Social Security Act says the program can only pay what it takes in. When the trust funds are empty, if taxes only cover 81%, then benefits drop to 81%. Automatically. Congress doesn't vote on it. It's the default if they do nothing. Before we go further, subscribe and turn on notifications right now. This isn't on the evening news. I'm tracking this issue and breaking down what it means for you in plain English. But if you're not subscribed with that bell on, you'll miss these updates. This is too important to miss. Subscribe right now. Now let's talk about how this affects you personally. If you're already retired and receiving Social Security, you have 9 years before these cuts. That might sound like time, but think how fast the last 9 years went. If you're 70 now, you'll be 79 in 2034. If you're 65, you'll be 74. You're not going back to work. You won't have time to rebuild savings. Whatever financial situation you're in when 2034 hits, that's what you're stuck with. So these next 9 years are critical. Reduce expenses, pay off debt, build emergency savings. Because if that 19% cut happens and you're not prepared, you're in serious trouble. If you're in your late 50s or early 60s, planning to retire soon, you're in the worst position. You'll retire right around when this crisis hits. You might retire in 2030, budget your entire retirement on your expected Social Security, and then 3 years later, face a sudden 19% cut. That's devastating. You won't have working years left to adjust. My advice? Delay retirement if you possibly can. Every extra year you work is more income, more savings, and a higher benefit when you claim. If you're in your 40s or 50s with years until retirement, listen carefully. Do not plan based on the Social Security statements you receive. Those statements don't account for 2034 cuts. When calculating how much to save, assume your Social Security will be 19% less. Plan for 81% of what they promise. Better to plan conservatively than run out of money. If you're young, in your 20s or 30s, Social Security might seem distant. But your generation faces even bigger challenges. The 2034 crisis is just the start. Demographics keep getting worse. Fewer workers, more retirees, longer lifespans. You might face multiple cuts. My advice? Max out every retirement account, 401k, IRA, whatever you have access to. Treat Social Security as a small bonus if it exists, not your foundation. Now let's talk solutions because Congress has options. The question is, will they act? Let me walk through the main proposals. Think about which you could live with. Option 1, raise payroll taxes. Right now, you pay 6.2% and your employer matches 6.2%, total 12.4%. They could raise that. More revenue extends the trust funds, but it's a tax increase. Workers take home less. It's politically unpopular. Option 2, raise the wage cap. Social Security tax only applies to the first $168,600 you earn. They could raise or eliminate that cap. Someone making $500,000 would pay tax on all of it. Hits high earners. More politically popular, but wealthy people fight it. Option 3, means test benefits. Reduce Social Security for people with other substantial income. Targets people who don't need it as much. But it changes Social Security from a universal program to welfare. Option 4, change the COLA formula. Use an inflation measure that rises slower. Your benefits grow slower over time. It's a subtle cut that compounds over years. Option 5, raise retirement age. Instead of 67, make it 68, 69, or 70. Fewer years Social Security pays you, but this hurts people with physical jobs. Working into your 70s as a construction worker or nurse isn't realistic. Option 6. Do nothing. Accept automatic cuts. Benefits drop 19% across the board. Everyone shares pain equally. Terrible policy, but requires zero political courage, which is why it might happen. Write in the comments which solution you think is fairest, or if there's a better option. Public pressure matters. When millions tell Congress Social Security is a priority, politicians listen. Your voice counts. Comment right now. Here's what bothers me. You paid into Social Security your entire working life. Every paycheck, money came out. You didn't have a choice. The government took it with a promise you'd get benefits when you retired. That was the deal. You held up your end for 30, 40, 50 years. Now there's a real chance the government won't hold up its end. Your benefits cut through no fault of your own. That feels like betrayal. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to demand Congress fix this. They've had years. They've been warned repeatedly. They've done essentially nothing. The last major legislation, the Social Security Fairness Act, actually made the problem slightly worse by increasing benefits without increasing revenue. Congress expands benefits when it makes them popular, but won't make hard choices to fund them long-term. According to recent surveys, 7 out of 10 Americans don't believe Social Security will be there when they retire. 7 out of 10. Young people assume they'll get nothing. Current retirees are terrified. This anxiety is affecting millions of families. And Congress just doesn't act. They kick the can down the road hoping someone else deals with it later. But here's the thing. Experts and advocacy groups all say the same thing. The longer Congress waits, the worse it gets. Organizations like Social Security Works, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, even the Cato Institute, they all warn that delay reduces options and makes fixes more painful. One activist put it perfectly. Every politician who refuses to strengthen Social Security is, by default, supporting cuts. That's the reality. So what do you actually do? I don't want you feeling hopeless. I want you empowered. Here are specific steps. Step 1. Adjust your planning now. If not retired yet, assume Social Security will be less. Save more, work longer, delay claiming as long as possible. Every year from 62 to 70, your benefit increases 8%. Lock in the highest base amount. Step 2. Diversify income. Social Security should be one leg, not the only leg. Retirement accounts, savings, rental income, part-time work, multiple streams protect you if one gets cut. Step 3. Reduce fixed expenses. Pay off your mortgage before retiring if possible. No car payments, no credit card debt. Lower expenses mean less vulnerability to cuts. Step 4. Stay healthy. Medical expenses destroy retirement finances. Exercise, eat reasonably, don't smoke. Lower healthcare costs means more Social Security for other needs. Step 5. Consider moving. Some places are much cheaper. Moving from high-cost to low-cost area makes Social Security go further. Not easy, but an option if finances get tight. Step 6. Get politically active. Call representatives, email them, vote for candidates who prioritize Social Security. Join AARP or Social Security Works. Attend town halls. Politicians respond to pressure. Step 7. Stay informed. Subscribe to this channel. Every time there's news from Congress, new reports, new proposals, I'll break it down. Knowledge is power. I hear from people every day who are scared. People who worked hard, paid in for decades, now terrified it won't be there. That fear is justified, but there's a path forward. Social Security faced crisis in 1983. Trust funds were weeks from depletion. Congress passed major reforms that extended the program decades. It required courage and compromise, but they did it. Can they do it again? I don't know. Today's politics are more polarized, but the alternative, letting automatic cuts devastate millions, is so unacceptable that I believe Congress will eventually act. The question is when. Soon, allowing gradual adjustments, or last minute, forcing sudden, painful changes. But here's what I know. You have more control than you think. You control how much you save, when you claim, your spending, whether you stay informed. You can't control Congress, but you can control how prepared you are. And that starts today. If this video helped you understand the 2034 crisis, do 3 things. First, subscribe to pension and SSI updates and turn on notifications. Second, share this video with family and friends on Social Security or planning to retire. This needs to reach as many people as possible. Third, comment with your biggest concern about Social Security's future. Will Congress fix this? What solution would you support? You're not alone. 70 million Americans receive Social Security. We all paid in. We all have the same concerns. Together, we can demand Congress address this before it's too late. Stay informed, stay engaged. Take care of your financial future. Thank you for watching Pension and SSI Updates. I'll see you in the next video.